Hey y'all, it's Nani here. It's Friday afternoon. Happy Friday. Happy hour. I hope y'all have a cocktail. Yeah, I am about to go through Butterfly Palace. Please wish me luck. To start, I want to thank everybody in my group. So many people who contributed information, screenshots, and the steps along the way for a massive quest. I did not email or message every person to get their permission to put their name in a public space, so I have removed names, not out of disrespect, not because I'm trying to take credit, but literally because it was just so many people contributing. I didn't want to have to message, 50 or 100 people to get their permission. Okay, y'all might have also just heard a couple of other weird noises, so I'll tell you now that my hubs came home tonight with a bunch of new stuff for his fish tanks. He's a big fish guy, and he'll be out there grinding down slate for pleco houses. He's building pleco houses. So if you hear any weird noises, that's what that's going to be tonight. All right, let's get to it. Okay, again, thank you to all the members in my group who gave so much information so freely and willingly. I love you guys. Love you. All right, so here are the building stages. This quest is going to have a couple of different quest lines running concurrently together. It's very confusing. I'm going to try and get it situated so that it's not as confusing. I mean, wish me luck, you guys. Here we go. These are the building stages. Number 1, place on your island. Number 2, place the heating elements on. Number 3, try to draw your butterflies. Number 4, all of a sudden you've got hornets and you need to get rid of those. Number 5, decorate, I think. I can't entirely remember what this one was called. This one is add herbs. This one is build houses. This one is build prettier houses. And then the end. All right, so let's move forward. So why would you want to do all this and take on this massive quest? Well, because all these butterflies you're catching can help you. When you settle them into your butterfly palace, they will do things for you. The one people go for most are either one of these, one or the other. Don't do both, pick one and focus. Otherwise, these others will speed up your carpenter, your sun dryer, your potter, your creamery. You can only have one of each level in there at a time. So this is the common. So only one. Of course, most people have an energy butterfly in. And then you have one of these. You can have one of these in, and it'll speed up one of these crafting stations for you. Same with this. Speed up a crafting station. The energy butterflies. Okay, so like I said, one or the other. Pick one or the other. I usually go for the red. You observe them 10 times in your butterflarium, and once your palace is completed, you can collect 7 energy every 2 hours. All right, or you can collect, if you observe them 100 times, you can collect 10 energy every 2 hours. If you observe them 500 times, again in your butterflarium, you can collect 15 energy every 2 hours. So that's the reason you want to do this, really. I mean, 15 energy every 2 hours, how helpful is that? Very. All right, for the people that like to have an idea of what's coming, well, actually, this is the starter list. This is the supply list that'll get you through about the first half of the quest, roughly the first half. And I've got these numbers here on the side. So this will be what you need very first. This is number 2, number 3, etc. So you want to start with these things first. This is the partial list that will get you through about the first half of the quest, the entire quest. All right, here is the full list. I'm going to say that this list was created almost nearly 5 years ago. So I'm not sure if any changes have occurred since then, but this is certainly a good place to start. You can see that you need 1,200 coins and 600 diamonds. The diamonds are to rent your merchant twice. The coins are to purchase what you need from the merchant twice. So the first item will need to be purchased 3 times, or you will need to get that 3 times. I think that's cinnamon, I believe. And then additionally, you'll have to purchase and rent him and purchase again for 4 purchases at 15,000 coins. All right, so moving on, you have to be level 25 in your game plus level 7 entomology before this quest will launch for you. As soon as you are level 25 and have reached entomology level 7, both, then the quest will launch for you. So the most confusing part of this quest is that you have got 2 quests running simultaneously with each other. So the first one is the main quest. That's here, and I know it's hard to see, and I apologize, I should have tried to get a clearer picture, but it's the actual palace quest, the main quest. This is 10 parts. You can see there, 1 of 10. Additionally, with it, along with it, is Dr. What's his name right here, and he'll be running 3 sub-quests plus a couple of mini-quests concurrently. These are going to run concurrently, and one affects the other. So if you finish this, you also have to finish this. All right, so the names, luckily they're named. The first sub-quest is Butterfly Heaven, 5 parts. The next one is Palace Gardens, 3 parts, and Butterfly Houses, 7 parts. Additionally, in there are a couple of like 1-part mini quests that happen along the way. So where I see people get stuck is they'll be at like 5 of 5 and done here, and they can't proceed and can't figure out why, and it's literally simply because they've got to come over here to this one and complete the next step there, and then it triggers that. So these are working together, back and forth, back and forth. Very confusing. I get it. The key is to just keep an eye on these 2 right here. Dr. What's his name right there, and this one that shows the actual Butterfly Palace. And if you keep up with those and click back and forth between them to see what your next step is, then you shouldn't get stuck. But if you do get stuck, then just check the other one. All right, launching the quest in the first place. As soon as you reach level 25 in your game level and level 7 in your entomology, this will launch for you, and this is what you will see first. So you've got to get these things and give. So the 10 lands, you can't get these from your neighbors. You can get that, you can get that. If you don't have that built, use your merchant. Right now, I posted a video earlier today where I started this on my mini island, and right now I've got my merchant going out for these things. You can't get this any other way except to have your glass blower built and your loom and your potter. Otherwise, you can use your merchant, and that's fine. Actually, I'm gonna have to build my glass blower because I've got the glass blower needing to craft things for me later, so I'm gonna have to work on that. But so you will need to actually build your glass blower. Okay, so here are the construction requirements for the glass blower. You are going to have the glass blower at some point because you will need to be crafting specific items in your glass blower. So you do have to have that. Okay, so moving on. If you don't have your glass blower, you can get these things from the merchant, which is what I am currently doing on my mini island. Okay, once you do that, place your foundation on your home island, and that will trigger part 1 of 10 of the main quest. So the way this is going to work is you're going to have two things working together. Your main quest, which is over here, and you'll see that with the icon that'll be in your quest bar will be the palace. And the concurrent, okay, there goes the cuckoo clock. Let's wait. The concurrent quest will be Dr. What's His Face over here on the bar. So you're going to need to follow through watching those, but know that they are going to run together. And sometimes you can't do one or the other thing until you finish the other. So just keep an eye on that. All right, so part 1 of 5 is to literally just place this on your island. That's easy peasy. So just do that and it will take you to the next part. Part 2 of 5, you're going to need tungsten filament, which you're going to need to get from doing the submarines, and then you're going to need to craft 5 red lamps. Alright, for the tungsten filament, you have to do the submarine. This particular part will be 5 submarines. There are 10 hours to fill the submarine, and you need to do 5. Let me get you to the list. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let me just address this first because this is going to happen twice. If you currently have your Accord quests also running and it's in the part where you have rose ships, these are going to alternate. Your submarine and your ship will alternate. So you'll get 1 submarine, 1 ship. The submarines will not have roses on them. Now, if it's the part of the Accord quest where it's trials, then the submarine does count toward your trial. So, kind of weird. Yes, the submarine counts towards trials. No, your submarine cannot help you with the rose bouquet. Okay, the next thing about ships. If you want to know if your next ship is going to be a submarine or an actual ship, because you just want to prepare yourself, let me show you how to do that. Alright, I've got my main island up here. Oh, it's not going to work because I have a ship. Well, maybe it will. Let me just send this off. Not gonna fill that. Let me send it. Let it run off. Okay, so up here in the very, very top right corner of your screen, you can see these 3 little dots. So click on there, 3 little dots, and then you can see the zoom. Zoom out to about 50. Yep, that does it, 50. And you can see whatever's right here, that's what you're going to get next. This applies also to Accord. So working Accord or working this Palace quest, you can zoom out like that to see what you're going to get next. If you're waiting on Brad's ship and you want to know if your pink ship is next on Accord, this same thing works. This will tell you if you're going to get the ship or submarine next. Alright, so here are some examples. The big thing to remember with these submarines is that it is about 1.5 times what the normal crate would be. So, like right here you've got stew, and it's 3. Perhaps on a regular ship, that might just be 1. So for olive oil, perhaps it might be 9 or 10 for a regular ship. So you can expect to have to fill 1.5 times the normal amount, and you also have to do it in 10 hours. So you don't get the normal amount of time to fill your ship that you would. It's 10 hours and 1.5 times the normal amount. So here is the standard ship crate fill list. This is what it normally takes. This is a minimum and maximum per crate for the average ship. So up here at the top you can see 1.5 times per crate if it's Brad's ship or submarines. So you can take this and add half again as much to get what would be perhaps the max. So this is bread. The maximum for an average ship would be about 21, so you could expect 32, perhaps around there, around as a max for bread on a submarine. And just figure that math. And I totally hate math, but it's 1.5 times the average ship crate. So some members had given some numbers for what they got on their submarines, and here are those numbers. Maybe this will give you a little bit of an idea of what you can expect when you get your submarine. And again, I'll take this moment to again thank everybody who contributed to all the information in this thread, because it is a lot of information and a lot of people put their input and info and maps and well, not necessarily maps, but things like this, lists, and just their thoughts, and that's how we got this all together. So thank you guys. Alright, so here's why you need your glass blower. This is not the only thing you're going to have to craft in your glass blower. But you can see here, once you get all your tungsten filament off the submarines that you do, then you're going to need to craft these lamps in your glass blower. 5 hours each, and you can see what's needed there. We need crystal and pigment. Okay, in the same part of this quest, we are also going to need cinnabar in order to craft our thermometers. Alright, let's move on to what we need to do to get cinnabar. Cinnabar comes from breaking stone. So this does not count if you break stone on your home island. So do not try to chop stone on your home island and think this is going to get you some cinnabar. It will not. You have to travel somewhere else. So for every part of this quest, there are several parts where you're going to have to go chopping stuff to get things you need, like this. And it is roughly 80 to 90 energy used will get you a piece of whatever. So in this case, it's cinnabar. We need to chop rock. So you'll have to go to another island, chop down rock, and roughly every 80 energy you spend will get you a piece of cinnabar. If you're wondering where to go to find cinnabar, find rocks to chop, okay, I would choose the islands that take low travel class, like Plant Kingdom, the Island of the Turtles, Island of East Bazaar is another one, any Temp Island, the Florin Island. Personally, I probably would go over to Turtles. It's a good idea to clear that island off anyway, and it's only 5 to chop, and there's rock everywhere, so that's a good place to get rock. Okay, once you have all your cinnabar, then you can start crafting your heating element. It takes 4 hours to craft, and you can see what it requires here: crystal and pigment. Once you have all of that done, go ahead and install your heating system into the main palace quest. Actually, what you have to do, I believe, is click on this to install that. So do that, and that will trigger the next part of your main quest and your concurrent quest. Once you've done that, you get to the next point. Okay, so here is the main quest part 2 of 10, and your next step is to craft, oh my goodness, what is this? Rubber hoses. Rubber hoses. I've got like the whole language thing going on. Rubber hoses. And then your concurrent quest is part 4 of 5, and you can see that here, and you have to collect sap, and you get the latex sap, and you get this from cutting bamboo in your travels. Then you craft rubber hoses, and that's going to, actually this says apply or set your rubber hoses. So you got to do this part first. My husband's back there all excited about his fish tank. So you're going to cut your bamboos, craft your rubber hoses and then set it into your, or it's a sprinkler system that you're setting in there. All right, you find the latex sap by chopping down bamboo on other islands. This is exactly like the rocks, where it's going to take about every 80 energy or so to get some latex sap. The larger items you chop, the more often you will get the latex sap. You're still going to get it if you chop down smaller items. It's just going to take more smaller items to accumulate up to around the 80 energy to get a piece of sap. So even if you're like struggling with energy and you have a lower energy cap, you still are going to get it in the exact same amount of energy. It's just going to take you a little bit longer because you have to refill your energy and chop smaller items, and it just takes a little bit longer. But if you want to chop the larger ones, you're going to get one almost every time. So go with the larger items if you can. Places to find bamboo. Okay, Radiant Lotus on the very right island. As you can see, this is a picture of it. You can find a ton of bamboo on the right island on Radiant Lotus. I don't remember exactly what the cost to travel there is. I think it's around 30 or 40. Okay, the other place to find bamboo. This is higher travel. I think it's about 80 to travel over to Earthly Rainbow. I'd have to verify that, but there is also a ton of big bamboo. Not little bamboo, but big bamboo. If you're kind of working on this, or you don't know if you want to work on this, this is one way to get through some of it, is to go over there and chop down the ton of bamboo on this island. Okay, once you have all your latex sap, then you can start crafting your hoses, and that is done in the sun dryer. And you can see what you need there is you're going to need firewood and dry jute to craft your hoses. Alright, once all that's done and your hoses are placed on your foundation, as you can see right down here, click on that to place it on there, then you will be triggering the next part of the quest. So now we are at, kind of got these backwards. The Palace main quest is over here, part 3 of 10. And it wants you to put fruit and flowers on the foundation. And concurrently running is the Butterfly Heaven quest, part 5 of 5, which is the same. Place the flowers and the fruits on the Butterfly Palace foundation. Okay, so where do you get all that stuff? Well, okay, so here we go. Butterfly Palace main quest, part 4 of 10. Find the clover and craft your fertilizer and plant it on the Palace foundation. So over here tells you where to go. Cut bushes in any travels, and you need 30 clover. You also have to gather eggs and collect bird presents, also known as bird sh blank t, I think, and then craft fertilizer. Okay, the bird presents come from collecting eggs from your chicken. So, about 25 chickens or jungle chickens. I'm told jungle chickens also give the present. The turkeys do not, so don't use your turkeys. But the chickens or jungle chickens will give you any of the presents every time you collect the eggs. So if you're just using your regular chickens, well, actually, if you're using any of them, it's about 100 chicken feed to get through this part. So you need 100 chicken feed. So plan on that and get crafting that. All right, the fertilizer is crafted in your millstone using the chicken poo. That's going to take up your time in there, so plan for that. 4 hours is a long time to be mucking up your millstone, but you got to get through it. So do that. 4 hours to make your fertilizer. All right, the sugar clover. Sugar clover will fall from anything that's got the grass icon over it. You need 30 of them. So again, you want to, pick the islands that don't cost a lot to visit. Plant Kingdom, Turtles Island, East Bazaar is cheap travel. So try that. Anything that's got the grass icon over it will get you the sugar clover. Again, it's going to be about every 80 or so energy expended is going to get you a piece of clover. Okay, so once you get all that done, click on your Palace Foundation and plant your sugar clover, and that's going to trigger part 5 of 10 of the main quest. And of course, you can see right here we have a problem. We've got hornets on our thing, so that's going to be our next task, is getting rid of the hornets. So concurrently, Palace Gardens 2 of 3 is going to be crafting repellents. So we're going to need cinnamon from the merchant, which we're going to have to rent the merchant and get that from him. And then we're going to need 15 of the smelly sulfur, which is going to be an additional 15 submarines. Alright, so here is the cost of purchasing cinnamon from the merchant. You're going to need to do this 3 times, so you're going to need a 60k coin stash to get through this part, and of course the 300 gems to rent the merchant in the first place. So, and there's that again. Oh, I've got 5. Why do I have 1, 2? I don't think this is the number of times you have to do it. It's only 3 times because you only need 15 of those. Just my fancy schmancy graphics here. Alright, the smelly sulfur is coming from the submarine. You're going to have to do 15 submarines. It's the same as last time. 10 hours to fill the submarine. 1.5 times the normal crate amount for that. So, you use your wish list or pink your crates to get your neighbors to help you if you need to do that. Again, if you're in the middle of also doing a chord and have rose ships, then your submarine will alternate off and on between a ship and a submarine. There will not be rose bouquets on the submarine because you're in the process of getting smelly sulfur, but they do count toward trials if you are also doing trials. Alright, again, the repellent is crafted in the entomologist, and again, the cinnamon is coming from your merchant. Oh, and I guess that's 5 times you have to collect that. 5, because it's 3 that you get. I'm going to make a disclaimer here, my math sucks, so if any of my numbers are off, so sorry, it's a really long and difficult quest, and I don't do math. So anyway, once you get your repellent crafted in your entomologist, then place it on your foundation and rid your butterfly palace of hornets. Okay, here are my cats behind me chomping away. If you guys hear weird noises, I've got the cat chomping and the Hubs is out there messing with his fish. So that's that. Alright, that will trigger the next part of the quest, which is part 3 of 3 for Palace Gardens, and then part 6 of 10 for the main quest. So you wanting to get herbs, rosemary, oregano, and patchouli. So at this point you want to be making patchouli because that takes 2 hours each to do that, and you need 40, so that's 80 hours. You can also use your merchant for that because you've just got your merchant for cinnamon, and you're not going to need him for that entire time. Once you get the cinnamon you won't need him for anything else. So, consider getting patchouli from him. Otherwise, the oregano and the rosemary is going to come from chopping, again, grass items in your travels. here we go. Grass items in travels. So again, as before, roughly every 80 energy expended is going to get you a piece of what you need. Now, this is frustrating for a lot of people. I know this takes a lot of patience. You have to know you got to have your patience there. You need 40 oregano and 40 rosemary. And you're only going to get it, you know, every other time you chop something worth 40. You know, you can't chop anything more than 40 for a grass item. That's the highest thing. So chopping 40 items, or 30 items, you're going to need to chop 3 of them to get something. So just know that roughly every 80 energy you're going to get something. And this is a big one where you're going to have to get a lot of stuff and it's going to take some time. So patience, patience, patience. All right, once you've got all that stuff, then click on your foundation and plant your herbs, and you're going to trigger part 7 of 10 of the main quest and part 1 of 7 of the third concurrently running quest. I know, it's so confusing. It's so confusing. This is why, if there's any misinformation in here, I am sorry. I am sorry. This is a long, confusing quest, and I'm just trying to get you guys the info. Okay. So here, oh, I thought I had both. I don't. I just got the part 1 of 7 of butterfly houses in 2 different languages. So there you go. Cut trees. We're looking for strong wood. Then we're going to craft birdhouses and install. Again, as before, you're going to have to be chopping things. The larger the chop, the better chance you're going to get something. And it is, again, roughly every 80 energy spent will give you what you need. So, just go for the larger ones. These bigger ones are back here. Just pick whatever larger one you can. So, let me see if I got islands. I didn't. Let me go back. I didn't, but you're going to find there's a lot of trees on, oh my gosh, well, there's trees on turtles. I'd go there. It's only 5 to travel. Where else are there trees? There are massive trees on Guiding Light. I think I probably would stick with turtles on this one to get those big trees. I'm sure you could find them there. Alright, so what we're doing now is taking that wood and building birdhouses. So, the Palace main quest, 7 of 10. So once you do that, you click on your foundation and place the houses, and it triggers part 8 of 10, which is not, this is in an area where the quests themselves are not that difficult, but then we're going to get a side quest here in a minute. So this is 8 of 10 of the Palace main quest, and then we've got 2 of 7 of the concurrent quest, and it's just to give these things. So these are big right here, so you might want to be crafting that up as we're going along. Alright, then all of a sudden we've got this new mini quest, and this is one that's not the main quest and it's not the concurrent quest, it's just an additional one. So this has got to get done, and the key here is this bouquet of flowers and the beeswax. You're going to need to get that stuff. So, and this is a lot of requirement, so you want to be working on that as well. 20 fish skewers, 30 thread, and 10 stained glass. Okay, so as you can see, now we are at the beautician. This is the point where you will need to have your beautician crafted. This is not something that you can buy from your merchant. You can buy the beeswax, but you cannot buy these creams. They have to actually be crafted in your merchant. In your beautician, sorry. In your beautician. You have to have the beautician workshop crafted for this stage of the quest. If you need to craft your beautician for this part of the quest, then these are the requirements for crafting your beautician, and you can see it takes 140,000 coins, so not cheap coin-wise to get that. There are the requirements for crafting your beautician. Okay, so the next part is to actually buy the beeswax from your merchant. So 15,000 to buy 3. You'll have to do this 4 times, not 5, 4 times, even though you need 15, and that's because you will get 3 for as a reward from one of the prior quests. Alright, here's the quest. Once you complete this, you're going to get 3, and that does count toward your 15. So you only need to rent that merchant 4 times. Or you have to buy from the merchant 4 times. You have to rent him once, buy 4. Okay, yeah, it's been a long day. And my math sucks. Anyway, you'll need to do this 4 times. So that's quite a lot. That's 60k coins, I think, if my math is right, and my math sucks. But you guys can do the math. Then you can see here that you have to craft styling wax. Craft is the key word there. You literally have to have your beautician in order to do that. So there is no getting around building your beautician. Alright, once you've done all that, you're going to get to this part, which is part 8. I think I've missed a couple of screenshots in there. But once you're done with that, then you're going to be at part 8 on the palace, part 8 of 10. You're needing to get silver mosaics. That puts you at parts 5 of 7 in your concurrent quest. So you have to craft the silver mosaics that you need to put over here. Alright, let's see. Silver mosaics, what do we need? For silver mosaics, you're going to actually need silver, which you're going to get from rings. This is Butterfly House Part 4 of 7. So we're overlapping a little bit, or else I'm just tired. 15 pieces of jewelry to get the silver that you need, and you want to use blue lures, or better, if you can, you could still get them without the blue, or better, but goes quicker with blue. Alright, here you can see, this is where it's going to show up right there when you're catching your fish. Like everything else, the better the lure, the better chance. Alright, once you have collected some silver from your fishing, you can see it right there, then you're going to need to craft your mosaics, what do you call it, silver mosaic, in your potter. And that's going to be 20 clay, 9 firewood, and 5 torch to craft those. Okay, once you have all your silver mosaics done, then click on your foundation and apply that to your butterfly palace. Once you do that, it's going to trigger part 9 of 10 of the palace, and then part 6 of 7 of the concurrent quest. So this is about the mother of pearl, and you can see that the concurrent quest wants you to install mother of pearl houses, and you're going to do that on part 9 of 10. Do you see how confusing this is? These things, oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to get off there. Mother of pearl houses. Now, this is another mini quest that's not named in either one or the other of those. Bobo, no barking. This is collect mother of pearl from clams and shells on your home island. So this has to be done on your home island. You can't do this off of like Tokai or wherever else there are shells, or turtles there are shells. Those don't count. Only your home island. Starfish do not seem to count. The clams seem to count the most. So here, oh, hang on one moment. Alright, so that's this part. The 50 open seashells on the beach, yada yada yada, that's on your home island. This other part, break quartz in travels. Let's move on to that. Let's not move on to that. Okay, so here's my little graphic for the clams. Just, pick up the seashells and clams on your beach and on your home island, and it's the clams that are going to give most often. All right, there it is. Breaking quartz on other islands. Same as before, 80 or bigger, and this is for moonstone. 80 or bigger is going to get you the moonstone more frequently than the smaller pieces. The smaller pieces will still get it for you once you have reached, up to about 80 energy. Okay, after you have both your moonstone and your mother of pearl, then you can start building your houses. They're 10 hours and they are crafted in the potter. Okay, we are literally getting to the end. Oh my gosh, look at this. 6 of 7 butterfly houses. That's the concurrent quest. And then 10 of 10, install a music box. So we're at the end. Near the end, yay. With that comes a new mini quest, okay? It's also the last quest. Give roses. So these roses are already in storage from a prior step. Give the roses and receive the music box as the reward. So you may recall when we were trying to get the beekeeper mini quest thing done, and this really, really big mini quest, that's where you acquired the roses. So those will be in your storage and ready for you to use for that last quest. The very last thing, install the music box on your palace, and oh my goodness, you will be done and you will have your palace. Riley is so excited. She got excited like right at the perfect time. Hello, Riley. Do you guys hear her running around? Oh my gosh. Okay, oh my goodness. All right, so that's the entire quest. Here's the butterfly palace on my island, and I can click on there, and in 28 minutes I'm going to collect 15 energy. I am going to do an entirely separate video about how the butterfly palace works. So I just wanted to get the steps, the supply lists in there, and wow, I think this is the hardest and longest quest that we've got in this game. So, except for maybe Olive Groves, but I mean this is a big one. This is and a very useful one and a good one. So work on it, chip away at it, a little bit at a time. And I will be back soon with another video on how this palace actually works. And please don't forget to like and share and follow my channel, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks, bye.